and
Well,
you're gonna fall for him.
That's why you have rubber lips
more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you have rubber lips, like Robin.
Oh yeah, just
so dumb. That's so dumb. Batman and Robin, like God, that's like,
damn it. That's the smartest thing I've ever fucking heard. Rubber lips.
It's like shark repellent.
Yeah, that's how that works. That is definitely how that works.
Yeah. Hey guys, how are you doing today? This is Gina Versa. It's another episode of Serving Up Comics. We've been watching a lot of TV and we're going to talk about it. But firstly, I'm joined by my good friend and co-host. As always, it's Nick Valero. Nick, how are you doing?
Hey, how's it going, man? It's going good.
It's good to see you. It's good to see you. Anything new? You're back to working.
Yes, I am back to work. I am back to work working with the future children.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, because like they're young kids, man. They're young kids. So I mean, like they don't. Like I was telling you earlier, it's weird for them to be back to work. It's weird for me to be back to work because I have to wear a mask all day, and it sucks.
Yeah,
it's terrible. I hate wearing a mask all day. That's why I shaved my beard because it was like, just getting soaked.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, you shaved, huh? I was like, I got a haircut, but that's unrelated. I was gonna say, Nick, is it like because it's like the ears? Is that what kind of bugs you, or?
No.
It's like there's a there's a thing called like an ear saver you could put.
No, it's not even. You know what? It's not. It's not even that. It's the what was it? It's because like the way the school is set up is it's basically just stairs on stairs on stairs.
Okay.
And like it's just a concrete school. There's not even a patch of grass anywhere, man. So like it's one of those things of just like you're going upstairs, downstairs, upstairs, downstairs. Eventually you just kind of want to like just breathe air.
Yeah.
Like, you just want to breathe regular air sometimes. So like when I get back in my car at the end of the day, I take it off, take a deep breath, and I'm like, woo, that was a long day.
Yeah. In your safe filtered air car.
Yeah, in my safe filtered car.
Yeah. Away from everyone. But no, thank you for going back into the education field. Yeah. Gotta say appreciate you, my friend.
It is really appreciated.
Yeah. And joining us today is our guest, Noah Garcia.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Or whenever the time is somebody's listening / watching this.
Yeah, it'd probably be like Wednesday afternoon. These episodes drop now. We have a new schedule. You could look for it on our banner. But Noah, you're an online journalist. You worked for some companies like Nerdbot. And you were friends with Diego, so we kind of like met through like I don't know if it's like Twitter or just like in person, but kind of like a combination of the two.
I was a little intimidated when I think we first started interacting online because I thought you were like really professional and really wow, Gene's talking to me. Okay, I gotta not sound stupid in front of Gene. Let me.
That's good. That's absolutely not how that works.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, I was just if anyone's seen my Twitter, I just put like dumb stuff sometimes. You know.
Like, and then as we started interacting, I was like, oh, Gene's just a person. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah. Just talking about comics. So another comic fan. So it's always nice to talk to you online just about anything comic related. Like making fun of what was that one meme I shared with you? It was like
oh my god,
the Virgin Batman who laughs versus
the Chad Superboy Prime.
Yeah,
that was so funny.
I don't know, Nick. Do you like Batman who laughs? Because I'm like a little tired of that character.
He was cool.
Okay,
a little oversaturated. I felt.
Yeah,
I feel like his imagery was just so like drastic, and people liked it. And stuff like that they were just like, cool, people like it, let's put them in everything. Just put them on everything now.
Yeah,
and I mean, he's cool. He's cool.
Yeah, I feel like I liked him for his first like introduction, but then it's like oh, Batman and Joker. Like it felt like, and again, it wasn't probably the reason, but it felt like such a good like tie-in where it's like, oh, this is like good for like merchandising, like Hot Toys or like DC Direct the statues. Because I've been in like a lot of like jobs or like post-production houses for like random people, and they don't even read comics. They're like, oh, I have the statue of Batman Joker. Like they call him the Batman Joker, but it's the Batman who laughs, and they're like, oh, it just looks cool. I don't know this character.
Yeah, why not?
I think it's something that should have been used sparingly, and the fact that he was part of the current, I think, Batman Superman run, where it kind of infected the people. I was like, oh, I mean, this is cool, but I feel like you're using him a bit too much.
Right, because he was in that. He was in a miniseries too.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. He's a cool character, but if you use him too much, he starts getting, I don't want to say blasé, but just real like, eh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's kind of like the actual Joker, where like if you use the Joker in every single story, the Joker doesn't get as terrifying. Like every single story isn't always about the Joker. You have a giant rogues. Use somebody else. Somebody else is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are the interesting ones. But
right.
Batman Who Laughs. I mean, he's a cool character. I'm more surprised that they haven't animated him yet. I'm really surprised.
No, we'll see. He's
not like in an animation.
They'd have to do a lot of work though, because there's a lot of stuff that precedes Batman Who Laughs. So I don't know how that would translate.
Sometimes DC doesn't care.
That's true.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. They'll drop stuff and they'll just be like, "Oh, and this cool character," and then people will go like, "What the hell is this from?" Makeup or reason.
Yeah. Well, look at how they did like Hush in the animated movie. They just just completely just threw out like Hush, his origin, and just made it Riddler.
Oh god,
that was the worst. That was I remember I was at Comic-Con and I think like they screened it and they were doing a Q&A and like someone like, I forgot it was the end of the panel and someone like told them like to their face like that was dumb. And they said like a very polite answer and then like it was just like
somebody to their face.
It wasn't.
That was dumb.
It wasn't. They didn't say it was dumb, but it was like a cosplayer as the Riddler, and they kind of like they said something along the lines of like, "Why would you do that?" Yeah, and that was at the last Comic-Con, so
20 years ago at the last Comic-Con.
Yeah, 2 years ago now.
You know what? The Riddler is actually a really dope character, and I do feel like he gets shortchanged a lot because he could have a lot of really cool stories.
Right. Yeah, he's a narcissist. He wants to get caught. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's one of those characters you have to know how to write well to execute.
Yeah, and I kind of get what they were doing with like that Hush thing, but I mean, Tom, just do the origin.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do an origin of Hush, then just do the origin.
Yeah.
And I mean, I believe in that specific movie universe. We had never even seen Riddler before.
Yeah.
So it's like this is your first introduction to the Riddler is as Hush. Like
well, we'll see him in the Batman. That'll be a better introduction. But yeah, I was just gonna say, just thank you for joining us today, Noah.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, because you've listened to the show and you watched it, so
it's
cool to have.
This is a fan moment.
Give you like a free T-shirt. I don't know. We might have. Yeah,
I'll take a sticker.
But yeah, just changing gears here, just on a just brief serious reflection moment. I just wanted to say just a quick statement for the Dante Wright shooting, he was fatally shot and killed by a Brooklyn police officer during just a traffic stop, and it was just a really tragic event. That the way like police treat people of color is just there's just a lot to be like said and a lot to be like heard and listened to from a lot of communities, and we could say this, but I would just also want to state that just like listen to people of color as well in this like tragic moment, because I think like listening goes a long way, if and obviously it just feels like if more people just listen to other perspectives that aren't their own, from their own like like their own like community, what have you, like different communities of color in America, probably be a lot more understanding, and we can't stress that highly enough, because it's just kind of you see a lot of shootings month after month, and it's just really sad. I don't know if anyone could also add anything, but I just want to say that before our recording, because we're covering like a Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it's just we have this hero with color, and it's thought it would be appropriate just to add that before we start talking about it.
Aptly said.
Yeah. And there is a GoFundMe page on that we'll put in the link. I believe it was created by his family. Aubrey Wright, on behalf of her. And you could literally just Google Dante Wright Senior Memorial Fund GoFundMe, and you would be able to find it. So just want to add that before we start talking about the subject, our podcast. So yeah. But please donate. But just going on to the topics, we have the recap of Batman, the animated series. I gave you guys 2 episodes, so yeah, not as many as before, but yeah, it was pretty Poison, which we first see Poison Ivy in I think one of her first media appearances. And it's cool to see her because, I don't know, besides the Uma Thurman version, I can't think of any other Poison Ivies than the Batman the Animated Series one.
I do feel that even the Uma Thurman one, I feel like whatever was going on in Batman and Robin, I think they were they got a lot of really cool stuff from the Batman the Animated TV show. They got the Heart of Ice backstory.
Right, they just copied and pasted.
They copied and pasted certain things, and then they were just oh, well, Poison Ivy's sexy. That's her thing. And didn't understand the rest of her. They watched one episode of Poison Ivy and was just she's a femme fatale. That's what it is. Just to get Uma Thurman and just have her try to get dudes. That's what it is.
Yeah, she's very seductive in that movie. Yeah, she plays that character well.
Yeah, and she's kind of seductive in this because she very much is trying to play that femme fatale, what was it, in a noir movie, the woman in red lipstick, she's dangerous, and you're gonna fall for her.
That's why you have rubber lips
more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you have rubber lips like Robin.
Oh yeah,
that's so dumb. That's so dumb with Batman and Robin. That's
damn it. That's the smartest thing I've ever fucking heard. Rubber lips.
It's like shark repellent.
Yeah, that's how that works. That is definitely how that works.
Yeah. I was gonna say, do you guys ship Harvey and Two-Face and Poison Ivy? Because that's an interesting couple right there.
I have to say it's it has been a minute for me since I've actually watched the animated series. So when I went back to kind of prep for this, I forget how in so many other iterations, whether it be the movies or other animated shows, when they present these characters, they're kind of there's Poison Ivy, but in this one it's here's Pamela, this is what she's about, here's Harvey, here's what he's about. And contrary to the medium, it doesn't feel cartoonish. So they do seem like real people, and the dialogue works really well. And I really enjoyed how they were able to interact. And honestly, I think if she wasn't kind of crazy, they might have been able to work it out. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. What would their kids have been like?
Maybe if she was in his corner, he might have not have gone off the edge himself.
Right. Or I don't know, maybe Harvey should have been he should have been more to her causes, environmentalism or something.
He would have been yeah, let's do it. And then she would have been oh.
You're right, Gene. Harvey's at fault in this one. Absolutely. Harvey's at fault. Yeah. How dare Harvey?
I was gonna say it's
Harvey.
Right, yeah. It's interesting how they really make Harvey a character in this show, because we see him just as a normal guy before he goes full on Two-Face. I think Two-Face has one of the best arcs in Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't the first time that Two-Face really gets an arc in a Batman TV show. I believe that for WB there used to be the Batman.
Oh yeah,
and he has a huge portion of it that he has Harvey Dent. What was it? They also did Clayface.
I think Clayface was basically their Two-Face, because they had Batman's friend Ethan Bennett.
I don't know if they had Two-Face on.
It was Clayface.
Yeah,
right.
Basically they made Clayface the Harvey Dent. Yeah.
They essentially just switched it, and they were just like, he's Clayface now.
Yeah.
And everything like that. But I do actually like seeing people who have known Bruce forever.
Mm-hmm.
And them also kind of going like, just like, hey, it's impossible for him to be Batman. Like, I've known Bruce for years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they really buy into the facade of the mask of Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. Like even when they see Bruce Wayne, they're not Bruce Wayne in a bat suit. They're not just like, Bruce.
Yeah. I think you know what I thought. I think you're thinking of Beware the Batman for the Two-Face arc.
Yes.
The CGI one. Okay. Did you guys ever see? Did you see that?
Yeah. That was actually not bad.
It came and it went like 8 years ago. Yeah. They were like, this isn't giving us toys the money for toys. It's not giving them the right ratings. And they just
where Alfred is like
Alfred has like a secret agent. He has guns. It has Katana.
Yeah, Katana's a sidekick. Yeah.
Katana's a sidekick. It's like that Robin.
That show, I thought it was actually pretty good. But it really, like, I believe like the last 5 episodes they literally dropped on Toonami or Adult Swim or something at like 3 a.m. and they're like, all right, the show's over. Like,
I could appreciate their attempt to use kind of these Batman villains you don't see. I mean, I think there was like Professor Pig. There was what's the name of the bird themed thief?
The Flamingo. I think it's El Flamingo.
He was on Batwoman. I remember. I forget her name.
I think he was on Batwoman, and also I think he was on the Batman, like the old Adam West Batman too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Has like Egghead in it.
Yeah. She also there's a bunch of different Bat villains.
Yeah, that was a good show. It's on HBO Max. I'm not sure if anyone could check that out, but
the Magpie. I was thinking
Magpie.
Of the
Magpie.
That's
Magpie. Yeah.
That's right. I had to type it out.
Well, it's all right. These are like really obscure villains, so like
so I can appreciate that.
There's no judgment in like not getting these names right because it's like this is like a character that's appeared in like 2 issues. It's like no one's gonna remember their name.
I think they also had like Mr. Toad.
He's in it.
Yeah, like I remember seeing that for the first time, and I was like, Mr. Toad.
It's all the Grant Morrison villains.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell? I don't remember Mr. Toad. Like, when was the last time I saw Mr. Toad? What the hell? Like that's a pull. But
good show though.
But Poison Ivy, I really dig what they were trying to do with her in this one. Like they really did cement like this is her backstory. This is what she's like kind of going for. She is an environmentalist and she's not entirely crazy, but she's kind of nuts.
Yeah, she's just I guess she's very like goal focused.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. She's very driven.
I can respect a career woman.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's how that's it.
And just since the Batman was mentioned earlier, I remember the Poison Ivy there was just that depiction there. She was like a young teen environmentalist.
Oh yeah, she's Batgirl's friend, right?
Yeah, Batgirl's friend, and I believe she got caught up in like a sewage spill or something. And just comparing those depictions, this one just feels so human. You know what I mean? It's very authentic in how it's written, and it's not like, oh, she's just a silly environmentalist. There's depth to the character that is surprisingly achieved in this one episode. So I appreciated it.
Oh, for sure. Because I was going to say, the actress is Diane Pershing.
Yes.
She's often associated with the character. I think in some of the Batman animated series, like games or other media, she always comes back. And she's really great. I think like she's up there with like, Conroy and Mark Hamill in terms of like these like definitive portrayals of the character. So I have to commend her for her work on that character. Because I think of like, I think of her voice as opposed to like Uma Thurman or someone when I think of Poison Ivy.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I always think Uma Thurman.
You always think Uma Thurman. Well, just because the puns.
Because the
puns. I wonder what Uma Thurman like thinks of that. Because like what like George Clooney was like, he's always apologizing for that movie. I think like Arnold.
I feel like she doesn't care.
She doesn't care. Yeah.
I feel like she doesn't care for one because it's not the worst movie Uma Thurman's been in.
No. Yeah, like the Avengers.
Yeah.
The Avengers, I don't know. It's not the Marvel Avengers, but it's like the BBC remake.
Yeah, the British Avengers.
Yeah, I heard that movie is like just I've never seen it, but I've heard it's just like awful. Like it's
my
just
brother loves that movie.
Justin would love that movie.
Yeah,
well, he's wrong.
He's wrong. Probably.
No, I'm just kidding. I've never seen it. I don't know.
No, yeah, because it just has Sean Connery as the villain. That's why he likes it.
Sean Connery, Eddie Izzard is also a villain. Who else is in it? Yeah, but I mean, it's not a bad movie. I watched it. I used to watch it when I was a kid.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we used to watch Batman and Robin when I was a kid, and I thought it was good too.
It's still good.
It's still good, yeah. All right, but I guess we kind of see the emergence of Big Bad Harv in this episode. Kind of some like hints at that. Is like yeah, because it's interesting. Before he's Two-Face, it's shown that he has like a dual personality already, so it just kind of like adds to these like problems in his mental health. And like in the comics and stuff, I believe, I don't know if they've updated it with like all the different continuities or like different like reboots or like relaunches, but usually like Harvey is gets all his like kind of like trauma, I think from his dad, right? His dad like abuses him. I think they talk about that in Long Halloween. I don't remember. Yeah, because it's like he has the coin because I think his dad used to do that. Yeah. I need to reread Long Halloween because they're coming out with the animated movie, but he gets a lot of trauma, I think, from that, and he has like sort of this, he has like already signs of like his break even before the scarring. So
but it usually only happens in like stressful moments,
right?
Stuff like that. Yeah, like it's like when something like really needs to get done, or if he's like a gun's getting pointed in his face or anything like that. That's when Big Bad Harv kind of starts like appearing.
Yeah, like in the animated show. Yeah, we'll see in the next couple episodes, right?
Which is very sad because maybe if you have a mental health issues, you shouldn't exacerbate it by being like a district attorney. But that's what he wants. So,
right. Yeah, he's a very tragic character. Two-Face doesn't get enough love sometimes. It's always people overlooking for a Joker or something.
Yeah. Also, if you also have a personality in your head that's called Big Bad Harv, seek help.
Seek help.
Seek necessary medical.
I mean, if everyone went to therapy, the world would be a lot better place.
Probably.
Yeah. But any other thoughts to add to this episode? Like, I thought it was one of the better animated series episodes. So,
it is a really good episode. It has like a solid plot to it and everything like that. Yeah, I mean, it's a great introduction of Poison Ivy. Great more or less good introduction of Harvey Dent, because you understand who Harvey Dent is, even if you don't know he's Two-Face, which I think is kind of better if you don't know he's Two-Face.
Oh, definitely.
It makes you care. It really does make you care about Harvey and Bruce and Harvey's relationship.
Right.
And you're really hoping he saves him.
Yeah.
When in the future, if you let him die, then it's one less villain.
Yeah, I mean, it's like kind of, I could see maybe The Dark Knight was inspired by some of these episodes. I think they were, because it's like there's references, because there's Roland Daggett in the animated series, and I forgot what his name is in The Dark Knight Rises. Like he has a different first name, but there's Daggett played by Ben Mendelsohn. So they did watch the animated series, I'm sure. So yeah, I could definitely see the influence in the Nolan Batman.
The Nolans just had Batman the animated series in the background.
Well, yeah, I mean, Nolan's not like the biggest comic fan, but he did the work. Like he read like all the essential novels. I'm sure he watched like the TV series, the cartoons. Like he did more work than Tim Burton, who like famously said, I only read like 2 comics.
That makes sense.
I like the Byrne Batmans, but like it does show he's not as familiar with the lore of the character. Yeah, bless Tim Burton, but it's true. So I guess we'll go to the next episode, Nothing to Fear. We have Scarecrow.
Speaking of therapists.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah.
And people who need them.
Yeah.
Scarecrow. Have you met him?
But yeah, this is an interesting episode because I think like Scarecrow gets like a lot of almost like they really relaunch him several times. Like of all the characters that they kind of like use, Scarecrow gets revamped the most, because there's the sequel show, The New Batman Adventures, and like for this he's kind of like a scarecrow. He literally looks like a scarecrow, and then like in the New Batman Adventures he literally looks like a zombie. They make him like
that.
Yeah, like I love
design.
that costume.
There's 3 different designs for the Scarecrow. One is where he's like he has like a very like pencil neck where it's like very sharp, and then what was it? And it looks like a sack over his head. The other one is he has like the hat with the mask and everything like that. And it looks a lot more kind of like the horseman kind of like vibe to it. And then that last one is more of like that kind of like the zombie caretaker that killed himself, because he also has like the noose around his neck and stuff like that. I actually really like the new Batman Adventures design. That by far is one of the cooler ones.
Well, watching that, I kind of realized that I think the current costume of Scarecrow in the comics kind of takes inspiration from the new Batman Adventure look.
Yeah, I think so. I think even like Arkham Knight uses that design, because that's one of my favorite costumes for Scarecrow is the Arkham Knight one, and then you have like he's voiced by Jonathan Nobel, so yeah, that's really great. But yeah, it's interesting like how they use Scarecrow. I mean, this is kind of like it's a really quick episode, but this also has like the first time Batman says his iconic line, like Kevin Conroy. It's like I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.
I am Batman.
And that's really cool because they use that all the time for like promos. Like they used it for Cartoon Network, for like Boomerang, like every single, like that is like one of the coolest lines ever. And he, I'm not sure if you guys heard the story, because it famously has like been told by Kevin Conroy.
Ooh, tell me.
Okay, so Kevin Conroy, because I believe he lived in New York in the 2000s for a while. He was like he was one of the relief workers after 9/11 fell, so he was like helping like in the soup kitchen, things like that. And he said I guess someone recognized his voice, and they asked him like, are you Batman? He said yeah, and then like, can you like do one of the lines? So he said like, and this is just like off the cuff, like he just said it really loud, and he said like, I am vengeance, I am the night. And like everyone like heard that, and like it's like all the firefighters, other like victims, what have you, and they all like as soon as they heard that, everyone just started clapping. And like I think he was just saying cute. He was just saying like, I guess like that was the kind of first like cheers or applause he heard during some of those. I love
Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, Kevin Conroy's great. We got to interview him a couple years back now, and he's just
I'm gonna have to dig that up.
Oh yeah, no, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, but Kevin Conroy is he's a peach.
Love him.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. He's a very cool guy. Very easy to talk to. Everything like that.
Very tall. He's like 6'5".
Yeah, that man's a giant. He can whoop somebody. He can be bad.
Yeah, probably.
He can definitely.
I'm into that. I'm down for it.
Yeah. But yeah, we stand Kevin Conroy. But just,
I really do like the idea of this episode, because this episode is you have a Scarecrow trying to burn down a university. It's essentially what it is. But the real meat and potatoes of this episode is because if you go into like the first episode of Batman, you don't really get his origin. You don't really get like the death of his parents. You don't get the tragic of Joe Chill and everything like that. Like you don't really get any of that. They waited all the way until episode 8 to really drop this stuff on you.
Yeah.
And it's not like just like, oh yeah, like we're doing like dark shots or anything like that. No, they're like honing in on Batman's parents' death, and they're making Batman live in the moment. And it's so interesting. It's just such an interesting idea.
Yeah.
And it's so cool that that's like his fear.
Yeah, like disappointing like Thomas Wayne or his parents. Yeah, because that, if you think about it, his whole life is basically shaped by his parents. If they weren't killed, like he wouldn't be Batman.
Well, not only that, but also it's really interesting too, because there are future episodes where Scarecrow is there and Batman gets dosed with fear toxin. And it's very interesting to kind of see where Batman's like life is kind of going or proceeding, because right now I have a mission. I have to make sure that my parents are proud of what I'm doing. Then later on, it's more of like protection of like, Batgirl and everybody else.
Yeah, that's that's that one episode where it's all a nightmare.
Over the edge.
Over the edge, yeah.
But I believe that's Batgirl who gets dust, I think. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. Like the evolution of his own psyche and his own focus of his mission, which is really well done.
That's a good point.
Yeah, because there's a lot of really good setup, because you can actually see character growth throughout the times that he actually gets like kind of dosed, because you don't really get a lot of inner monologues with like Kevin Conroy's Batman.
No, it's not like Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, it's not like Dark Knight Returns. It's not, but I mean, that was like a huge thing in the Batman or like comic books when he was by himself, was he would have a lot of internal monologues. So you would kind of know what Batman's thinking.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to kind of actually get an episode of seeing what exactly is Batman afraid of. Like, this guy is supposed to be scary. What scares the nightmare?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is a great episode to show that.
Oh no, I think so as well. Because I think it's a pretty just revealing episode of this version of Batman, and also he kind of ages throughout these two series, because he's like shows maybe he's like 30, 28, and then with the first Robin and the second Robin, he's getting older, and then Batman Beyond, he's like an old guy. He's an old man, it's like one of the coolest.
I've always wanted to know why they skipped Jason Todd.
Well, he's in the comics right now.
In the comic, yeah.
In the comic, they kind of introduced him as like a quick temporary Robin who
he was like
reckless.
Wait, he was Batman, like the animated series?
Yeah. It's in continuity because it's by Bruce Timm and Paul Dini. The story, they didn't write the script, but they did do the story. So if it's by them, it's in continuity.
Yeah. Red Hood shows up.
Yeah.
So all our comic fans out there, if you want to find out about Red Hood in the DCAU, I guess.
Yeah, definitely check that out, because we've recommended it before on the show.
So what you're telling me is that Jason Todd could meet Terry McGinnis.
Good. Potentially, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, I guess that wraps up our Batman the Animated Series recap, and we'll move on to the next topic. All right, so quick thing before we go on to Falcon and the Winter Soldier. What are we reading? I guess I'll go first, because we have some comics. I guess from a friend of the show, he did a Kickstarter on Asylum Press. Yeah, Frank Forte. I contributed to his Kickstarter for these books, The Vampire Versus. So Kickstarter rewards gave us these first couple issues. So have to promote any friends of the show. Definitely check that out if you look up Vampire Versus Kickstarter. But I just want to help out a friend of the show there. But other than that, I've just been reading. I went to Amoeba, the new Amoeba, and I got like a bunch of got a bunch of like graphic novels. I had Empire by Mark Waid. It's like a really obscure DC comic that came out like in the 2000s. It's just about like an overlord fascist alien who literally takes over the earth, and it's like 6 issues of like just basically why like fascism is terrible in like a superhero world. And one of Mark Waid's best comics. I was reading that. Still collecting The Other History of the DC Universe by John Woodley, which is great. Oh yeah, okay. So I have to promote that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds awesome. I continued with Last Ronin.
Okay.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin.
Oh, I heard that's been really good.
It's been awesome. It's been nice. It's really good. It's so far what they're doing is they're really diving into what did it take for Mikey to survive. Not only that, but also what happened to the team. Like what happened to Splinter, what happened to everybody else, and to kind of see their this transition. And even though the turtles are going to die whenever they do these flashbacks, that it might happen. but it's still shocking when you see it, and it's still really great storytelling. And I definitely recommend The Last Ronin. It's such a great comic that's coming out. I did go back and start reading a couple of graphic novels that I just had sitting in my library. One I started reading was the Game of Thrones comic book.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
The one where the one where they just transcribed what was on the page and then turned it into a graphic novel. And it's really cool. It's really, really good. I would definitely check it out if you guys get a chance to.
Yeah. Do you think that'll finish before the books?
I think they'll catch up by the time the books are there, because they do like, it's like maybe like a third of a book, because the books are pretty decently sized. So they do like kind of like a third, like not even a third, like they probably do like maybe like half a book in each one. So you get like, in two compendiums, you get, the actual like, Storm of Swords or whatever it is. They come out every so often, but yeah, they'll probably catch up to the books pretty soon.
Who's that published by?
That's a great question.
Is that Image or is that?
It's in the
Dark Horse?
Yeah, it might be Dark Horse, but it could just be like an independent label.
You guys talk. Let me go grab it real quick.
All right, there you go.
I can literally see it, and let me go grab it.
Yeah.
I would assume Dark Horse. I don't know why. I just feel like they fit the vibe of the Game of Thrones comic.
Yeah, they get a lot of good. They get a lot of good like licenses for whatever reason. Maybe they have like a good legal team. What have you?
Maybe they have a good PR. They just go to people and say, "Look at our work."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so this is it. It is
nice.
George R.R. Martin Game of Thrones graphic novel, adapted by Daniel O'Brien and art by Tommy Patterson.
Okay, who's it published by? As Nick's like literally just gonna start.
As I'm like going through it,
I know exactly.
Batten Books.
All right, I've never heard of that, but
Batten Books. There
you go. Nice.
Hey man, it looks cool. It's got some cool artwork. If you're a huge fan of Game of Thrones and you've always kind of wanted to see like the how exactly the books would be adapted into like an action set piece, go check it out. Everything like that. Like,
gotcha. And
it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough.
All right. We'll take your word for it.
Yeah, like the Daenerys scene. The whole there's a whole Daenerys scene.
Yeah, that's
Is she 13 like she is in the book? Because then I do have an issue. I have an issue then. I have an issue.
Yeah, that's okay. All right. But moving on.
It's a different time.
Moving on.
But Noah, any other comics that you could promote or want to reading?
Promote.
Yeah, promote. No.
Well, I'm being paid by Image, so
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I've been currently jumping on to the Tinian and Jimenez team of Batman books right now, which is, I'm really enjoying that because I love Tinian's take on the character and his support, mostly his supporting cast too, especially Harley. And I've been reading that, and a lot of the only Marvel is Champions, which I'm a fan of. The Miss Marvel, Nova, Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and I'm keeping on Titans Academy because I hope I like it eventually. And Nightwing.
Yeah, Nightwing
by Tom Taylor. Those are kind of like the main four things I've been picking up.
Nightwing, Nightwing is such a good hero that I feel like I wish more people read him.
Yeah, he's really fun. But yeah, those are kind of the four comics I've been picking up.
Nice.
I actually really enjoyed those Agent Grayson ones.
Yeah, Grayson.
Yeah,
Grayson's
those are
great.
fun.
Grayson was a really good comic book. I actually really liked it because it had
Tom King.
It had that like nice little spice of like Batman mixed with James Bond. And that was always like really cool.
I think the spy genre really goes with the Batman world for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I know some people. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
I know some people are mad when there are changes to characters. Like, oh, now he's a spy. I miss Nightwing. If you're aware, these books are always going to be cyclical.
Yeah.
And that the status quo will always be returned. When I see things like Nightwing Grayson becoming a secret agent, or I see Jane Foster Thor, I'm just like, okay, what's the story? Take me along for the ride, because I know it's going to return to normal eventually. So I really enjoyed his time as a spy. It was really fun.
Yeah, as long as it's
right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as it has a good story, yeah, like explore it, unless it's like I'm trying to think of like one of the bad like 90s reboots, like Spider-Man becomes a clone. If it has a bad story, then yeah, just don't read it, and then it'll go back to normal like in 3 years. So you have like no reason.
I don't like Superior Spider-Man.
All right.
Oh no!
That's
the first Spider-Man run I actually picked up and enjoyed.
I actually really don't like Superior Spider-Man.
Okay.
I think it's really terrible because it's just Norman Osborn just kind of screwing up Peter's life.
Yeah.
He's
Doc Ock, no?
Doc Ock, yeah.
Yeah, I mean Doc Ock. I mean, not only that, but then he starts dating like a dwarf and he breaks up with Mary Jane.
Right.
It's a weird book.
Oh, and I remember her name, Anna Marie. She's adorable. And I love her.
Great character. I don't know if she's still around, but yeah, good character for sure.
I can say at least, even though you don't like it, I can say I at least enjoyed the fact that he is so terrible at the start, and you really get to see him slowly become maybe not a good person, but at least someone who's better than Octavius was before. So I can appreciate that.
Yeah. I guess
I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
I can appreciate it.
Yeah, everyone's entitled to an opinion,
Yeah.
No, this is the internet. No one's entitled to anything.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I remember reading Superior Spider-Man and then just kind of going like, oh my god, I can't wait till they get Peter back.
Yeah,
like Peter needs to get back.
Definitely.
Peter was gonna come back anyways. So
yeah. Speaking of like changes, I guess we'll go into Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because this is basically Falcon becoming Captain America. I mean, it's kind of the cat's out of the bag at this point. Mm-hmm. What are initial thoughts? Like, this was announced way back in like 2019, and I think at San Diego Comic-Con, where was it like D23? I have no idea of like D23, because I have no idea what happened before COVID at this point. This was one of the Disney Plus shows I've been looking forward to the most. That and I guess like Hawkeye, just to see Kate Bishop, not for the other Hawkeye. But this show, it's a weird adaptation of like the Falcon Cap run from Rick Remender, the Truth miniseries that debuted Isaiah Bradley, and like the Mark Grunwald run, where Steve gives up being Captain America and he gets replaced by John Walker. These are like really good comics. All of them I'd recommend.
Amalgamation of ideas.
And that's the MCU at their finest, where they pick everything that's like good.
Yeah.
Put into like a blender,
Yeah, because I have to admit, in the comics, I don't actually like how Steve becomes old man Steve.
Oh yeah, it's kind of dumb. It's kind of convoluted.
Yeah.
Because I think he gets poisoned, and then
this alien like takes his like blood. Yeah, it was really.
And then reverses the aging, and then he like immediately turns like 80.
Yeah, it's like
he's like, I can't be Captain America anymore. And it's like, it's very much like we don't know what story to tell with Steve anymore. We just need to get him out of the way.
Well, I will say I like Falcon as Cap. Like, that's such an interesting storyline. That's the strongest part. But like, the only problem I think that with that whole thing is like it's repetitive, because Steve just got replaced as Captain America like 5 or 6 years ago because he was dead by Bucky, and he goes back to being Captain America, and he becomes before he became Captain America, and he was a SHIELD director.
He got shot, didn't he?
Yeah, he got shot. But like,
in
he
the
doesn't
2000s.
Right. Yeah, he gets shot at the end of Civil War. Bucky replaces him. Cap comes back. We won't get into how he comes back, because that's it's a whole thing. He doesn't come back as Cap. He becomes the SHIELD director. He replaces Nick Fury, and then Bucky dies. He replaces Bucky, and then he's old, and then he becomes SHIELD director again. And then it's like, it's repetitive. Like, it's cool to explore, but like just have a different angle, maybe.
It's kind of funny, because I literally just said that comics are cyclical and they always change, but these shows, because actors have their own agendas, whether or not they want to continue with the series or not.
Right.
So if Chris Evans never comes back, I'm kind of okay with that. I enjoy him, but I mean, let's dive into Sam Wilson. I've been excited by the series so much, simply because I don't know anything about him. Mm-hmm. He's always been a sidekick in every movie, And even though you get like tidbits of his backstory, you really get to see like his family, and
Yeah.
you get to see him eat a food. That's silly, but I always know, like, do I get to see this character eat is like a thing for me. Like, what do they eat?
Well,
like,
that's really good, because it's like, I believe a lot of the writers and the showrunners are like people of color, so it's just like it's good to like just depict like a person of color who's a character just living, you know.
Yeah, just a guy.
He's the dude, yeah, and like they really paint Sam Wilson really well, you know. He's like basically like, I don't know, like a modern day like Steve Rogers, you know, like the way he cares for his like family, you know, like the struggles he goes through. Like I think that's like the first episode where it's like he gets denied like a freaking bank loan. Like that's super relatable, you know. And then the guy wants to take like a freaking selfie with him. Like,
oh yeah, no.
It's like, dude.
There's lots of moments where they're like, no. Oh wait, you're a hero? Oh, okay, yeah. What's up, Avenger?
There's a lot of moments where it's just like, dude, read the room. Like, this isn't.
Poor Falcon.
You're denying me a bank loan and then you're asking me for a selfie.
That ain't
fun. And that's I don't know, like kind of, may he rest in peace, but that's kind of messed up. Tony didn't pay any of them. Because in the comics, the Avengers have like
they have like a fund or something.
Yeah, right? They have like checks. Yeah, they have something. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, there's a Spider-Man panel that went viral where it's like Iron Man's like,
we have money.
Yeah, Iron's like, do you want to join? And then Spider-Man's like, is there money? It's like, yeah, we have money. And he's like, oh, thank God. He like hugs him, because it's like Spider-Man's like broke in the comics. You can relate. That's why Spider-Man's so relatable. Just broke.
Just broke. Wait, what did Sam? I actually forget.
Oh,
what did Sam say how he was getting paid? It was like
he does government contracts.
So like, yeah, he'll work for the military for like a service, you know, trying to like help out people. So yeah,
I do want to say it's interesting because I believe during the all new Captain America run with the character, they didn't have any backing. I think him, Misty Knight, and D-Man, they had to do like public funding or something, which I think was really interesting. And there's tidbits of that in here because there's no Avengers to back him and Bucky up.
Because I guess, and it's interesting to see in these Disney Plus shows because you see like snippets of where the universe is at, and I guess like the Avengers are, I guess they're like over. It's like disbanded. You know, there are no Avengers at this point.
That's what it kind of sounds like, right? It kind of sounds like after Cap and was it Tony died, like when they died, or when they they vanished, or whatever it is that they told the public. It kind of sounds like the Avengers kind of split their separate ways and kind of just did whatever, because Avengers Campus is gone. Like
it's
where
destroyed.
Exactly, it got destroyed by Thanos.
Yeah, and Avengers Tower was sold.
So I mean, there's not really a base for the Avengers anymore.
No,
it's all about sword and ultimates now. Everyone, get on board or get out of the way.
And then too, like the two leaders, Cap and Iron Man, gone, retired. Thor, I guess, is just in space.
Thor
working out,
trying to lose like the beer weight again.
I know this is totally off topic, but have you seen images of Thor Love and Thunder?
Oh, that dude's ripped.
He's ripped again with the long hair, and he's in like a biker jacket.
That's cool.
I love that biker jacket. It's so fun.
Dude looks like Lobo. I was like, what the hell is going on?
Oh my God. Yeah.
See, now that you put that out in the universe, there's gonna be a fan edit. They're gonna.
I hope they do, because honestly, he looks dope. He looks like Lobo.
Yeah, definitely. But I was gonna say, just going back to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like, it's really interesting how they explore Sam. But I was gonna say, I think it's really well done how they like explore just kind of like, because Steve gives him the shield at the end of Endgame, and like you're like, oh, automatically like, okay, he's gonna be the next Captain America. But like the fact that he was like, he gets like really like bogged down by the legacy. Like he doesn't want to be Captain America at first, like, and it's not not his fault. It's just like as he tells, I think like Bucky tells him like no one knew like the could tell no one could predict the impact it would have on you, like a black person being given the shield, and it's like and he didn't either. Like he kind of apologizes too, because he's like, yeah, I'd be Captain America. And it's like, no, like it's really difficult for Sam if you look at like just how a lot of people of color were treated in the country and just kind of like how he feels like just really like overwhelmed a bit, right?
Yeah,
I think Bradley himself is like, oh, there shouldn't be a black Captain America.
Right, yeah, because Isaiah Bradley. I was just going to say Isaiah Bradley is in the comics the first Captain America, where he's basically like an allegory for the Tuskegee Airmen. The military uses him to experiment, like they experiment on him to try out the first couple doses of the super soldier serum. He becomes the first successful one, and all the other people that they experiment on, like he says like no one told them what this was, they die, what have you. He gets trapped behind enemy lines in World War II, and he gets like messed up, and he's like, kind of like this in the black community in the Marvel universe, he's like this hero that like only the community knows about, and like a few other select people, because it's like a secret.
He's more of a folk hero.
Yeah, I would say that.
And everything else, but it's an interesting storyline. Isaiah Bradley is by far one of the most interesting scenes of them two just talking about what the legacy of Captain America is.
Yeah,
and whether there should be a legacy of Captain America.
Right.
The idea that basically Bradley just goes, yeah, like if it was me, I'd just throw the shield away.
Yeah,
just get rid of it and let the name die with supposedly with Steve and stuff like that. And also the idea that Steve and Bucky are like, it's really funny because they're basically like these two old white men who just gave a shield to this like young African American guy, and he's just like, we didn't know what it was gonna do.
Yeah, they're a little like like. They're old, they look young, but like they're kind of like out of the loop, so to speak, sometimes. Yeah,
like they're just going like, yeah, like we're friends with him. Like what's the big deal?
Like just not thinking of the consequences.
Yeah.
It's
right.
It's one of those things. Just like, yeah, man, he's our friend. Like everybody's gonna love him as Cat. Like it's fine. And then sure enough, like everybody hates him. They're like, why?
yeah, but at least they listen. They like Bucky realizes like, oh yeah, like that was not right of me to like just like push this on you without like like confronting a lot of those truths or confronting a lot of the things,
What's
at least like
idea?
At least Bucky. I was like, at least Bucky listened.
Yeah, it's also an interesting tell as well, because from what Bucky's makes it sound like is that Bucky knew what Cap was doing when he got on that thing.
Yeah, if you look at the scene again, he does know. Yeah.
Like,
he gives him the grin.
Yeah, he gives him the grin, and then he says, don't have too much fun without me.
Yeah.
And everything like that.
That's a good scene. Like that was like
with this context of like knowing that Bucky knows what Steve's gonna go do. And Bucky also has already agreed to give the shield to Sam. It's it becomes a way deeper scene.
I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Especially since one of my gripes with Endgame was like, wait, you just left Bucky? So that scene really helped kind of clear the air for me.
Maybe he told him, he's like, hey, man, like you need, like I'm leaving. Like take care of stuff this time. Like,
hey, I was supposed to like grow and change as a person, but I'm just gonna go back and marry that girl and kiss my niece later.
Endgame is a very like I like Endgame. Like I don't hate it. I love the third act. But there's a lot of problems in that movie. Probably discuss it another time. Yeah.
I mean, in all fairness, it does make sense that why he goes back. It's like,
it makes sense.
Kind of like,
it makes sense. I mean, did he make out with Sharon Carter? Yeah, but they weren't related yet.
Let's not.
They weren't related yet.
Yeah, let's. I don't even want to think about that, but it's cool to see Sharon again.
That's all I can think about whenever I see her. That's all I can think about.
It's cool to see her again because that's interesting that she just got like abandoned, and then she becomes she's a power broker, right? Like that's implicit.
She's not.
She's not? Okay.
No, she's not. She's not. Okay. Here's the reason why I think that Sharon Carter isn't the power broker.
Because it could be a red herring, man. I could be just like getting into that red herring.
Yeah, I mean, for one, why would you have the shadow? The shadow broker was the one that put out the hit. why would you put a hit out and then have to fight the men that you just hired to go kill Captain Falcon and Winter Soldier? And also, why would you lead them to your lab to allow them to kill the guy you needed? That'll make no sense.
Yeah.
And even if it is like a fake out, like, oh, I did all that, like it's so complex. It's needlessly complex. If that was a fake out,
it's overly complicated for absolutely no reason.
Right.
Like, there's no way you can explain this away of like, oh, this is how I big brained it. It doesn't work if like Sharon Carter is that. But what does make more sense is that Sharon Carter is actually a sword agent. And she is in deep undercover.
It all leads into sword.
She's another undercover mission.
She's in deep undercover to understand the Shadow Broker, because the Shadow Broker is actually a Kree.
Okay, this is like getting like you're putting like the
theorizing right now.
Putting that tinfoil hat on, man.
Hey, I'll put that tinfoil hat on. You have enough Kree and enough things. It's got to be Kree. It's got to be Kree.
Oh no. It's like
okay. I do want to bring something up if we're talking theorizing real quick.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm just going to compare WandaVision real quickly. I think it's interesting that I found there's always discourse with these Marvel shows. And with WandaVision, I found the show far more interesting than the discourse. But in this show, I've as much as I enjoy the show, I think the discourse is really interesting about it, because there are people who are, oh, this is what it means, and other people like Brad Walker is my favorite character.
Yeah, that's
like
no. I guess let's talk about that. Just going into that, because what do you guys think of
Captain America? Is their favorite character?
I've seen those tweets.
Yeah, there are tweets. Rob Liefeld
unironically
said that he loves John Walker, and I'm like, dude,
that's swap. It's literally swap me. Captain America.
Yeah, of course, Rob Liefeld says that. Of course. So I guess we'll never have him guest on the show, but what do we?
No, bring him on and explain your position, Rob Liefeld.
No. John Walker, what do we think? Because
is it Sam? Is it John? I forget.
It's John Walker, yeah. And in the comics, John Walker is very like, he comes in the 80s, around the time of Reagan. So this is very cyclical at this point, because now he comes at the end of a certain presidency that shall not be named. But the John Walker is very influenced by his times. Like, it's a very like Reagan conservative character. You know, he's just like going into other like countries, like creating international incidents. He's very much like I think the term's like an ugly American. You know, he's very like, I mean, I don't know, like, well, I don't know. He's just very like a little, I mean, the show kind of plays on like, you know, like not ignorant, but he's just very like he's very full of himself. You know, every time he introduces himself, it's like he's like Captain America, or he's like John Walker, Captain America, you know.
And you know, Steve would always not be, I'm Captain America. He'd be like, I'm Steve Rogers.
Yeah, like he says to Groot. Like he says to Groot, right? You know, Steve was very humble.
Which is actually really funny in that scene. If you look at the actual script, Groot isn't saying I am Groot to Steve. He's saying, can I get some help with this? And then Steve goes, I am Groot. I am Steve Rogers.
Oh no. Poor Groot.
Because it's really funny, because he's trying to like fight off like the what was it, the demons that are coming in.
Yeah.
And then he's like
skewering them.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, can you help me with this? And he goes, I am Steve Rogers, and then he runs away.
Poor Groot.
Poor Groot.
Yeah, Groot.
But
Groot, that's really funny with Groot.
But yeah, John Walker isn't Steve Rogers for obvious reasons, and we also
but the thing, the main point of that is that Steve didn't want to become Captain America. He just wanted to help his country.
Yeah, he wanted to, you know, like he wanted to stop bullies, be a good person, you know.
Yeah, and
that's all he wanted to do.
Yeah, he wanted to like stop the Nazis, because those were essentially the biggest bullies that you could ever have.
Right.
And John Walker is taking too much into the title of Captain America.
Yeah.
And he's taking that pride that he's been chosen as Captain America, and he's taking it way too far.
Right.
To the point of like, no matter what I do, it's okay because I'm Captain America.
Yeah.
Ends justify the means, because that's what Steve did. Ends justify the means. You know, he broke the law, and then, you know, he was forgiven later. I can break the law and I'll be forgiven later as well.
Yeah, his like moral compass is like so like out of whack. And you see like even when he's like talking, like he just talks down to like the was it the Black Panthers honor guard? Like he just really condescends to them and they just like kick his ass.
Which was a fun scene. I love
that scene.
Yeah.
He's like, they're not even super.
The Dora Milaje when they just
Dora Milaje,
when they beat
they're
up,
so badass.
Yeah, when they beat him up, it's a great scene. It's a really good scene.
Yeah,
but to have John Walker kind of insane and also use his own medal of valor to melt them down and then make them into a shield. It's
great after credit scene. Yeah,
that is insane. Like that is a man who has lost it, and he's probably not going to be able to come back.
Yeah, because they pretty much imply like the stuff he saw in the war like kind of messed him up, already before this. Like they did some, they won't say, I don't know, because of like ratings, but like they did some messed up stuff over there.
The way that it makes it sound like is that they wiped out a village.
Yeah.
Like they were in Iraq, and then they were being held down, and him and Battlestar, I forget his name, they were forced to kind of like kill an entire village.
Yeah.
And like he said, and like he even said, he goes, well, we did what we had to do.
Yeah, exactly.
In order to get out of there, and they had already killed so many of us.
But yeah, just kind of, no, I agree with you, Nick. Like, just the way they use walk around. I was just gonna say also, because this is a very like the themes in the show are really heavy. It has a lot to say about like America, about like race in America. Also, Walker really reminds me of like just like the way the country, really is like, the fact like a lot of like conservative people like they have this like fake like ideal of America that's pretty much like Walker, like like it reminds me of like just kind of like the country really couldn't accept like a black person as president, so like they voted for fucking the last person that was president, and like the fact it made them uncomfortable, so they gave it to someone that's not even qualified, pretty much Walker. Like a lot of the like MAGA people would give it to anyone that's unqualified as long as they were like white. And Falcon before Walker takes the serum, and even probably after he takes the serum, he's more qualified to be the next Captain America, but they couldn't like accept him, and it's like a really good allegory of, I guess, just kind of that sort of like prejudice in America.
Well, the thing is that I feel like Erskine never made it really clear to anyone why he picked Cap.
Yeah, like he's a good man.
I feel like the only person that Erskine actually explained himself to was Steve. And because the key to the super soldier serum is he has to be a good man. Like
it enhances you in every aspect.
So if you're if you have a little dark side into you, it becomes a lot of dark side that's into you.
Like look at Red Skull,
and everything else. But if you're a good man and you're weaker, because John Walker's kind of he's always known power. He's what was it? He was a football star. He's a award-winning, soldier and everything like that. He never really knew what it meant to be weak or defenseless.
Like and Steve,
and Steve grew up defenseless. He grew up as a small kid from the Bronx
who would just get beat up every day.
He would get beat up every day, but he had this like will to
integrity,
not hurt people.
And this like moral center for sure.
I think that's telling, especially I think there's an early scene where Sam is they first meet him and in action on the field, and Sam is just like, I think actually it's Bucky's like, well, have you ever jumped on a grenade? And Walker's like, yeah, I jumped on 7. And there's Steve didn't jump on the grenade to show off. It's because he was being a shield. But Walker did it as like a point of pride.
They did it in order to because he says, he goes, I bet you I've never laid on a grenade. And he goes, actually I can, because my hat will block grenades.
Steve didn't know that.
Yeah, and like Steve didn't know it was a dud. Like he didn't have any equipment that was like he knew he was going to be safe. It was like I jumped on that grenade knowing that I could save even 3 people.
Right. Yeah.
And everything like that.
It's just he was a selfless person. Steve, and Walker is basically selfish.
Yeah. Yeah, and not only that, but also in retrospect, if Steve didn't want the serum.
Right. He just wanted to.
He just wanted to help.
Yeah.
And everything else, and he knew that the only way he was going to be able to help was with the serum and stuff like that. I think that's kind of like the key, is to not want the serum.
Right.
Not want to do anything else.
Yeah.
Not wanting is kind of the journey that Sam's been going.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Because like Sam didn't want the shield at first, and now like it's his journey. Like, all right, like I have to take this. Like it's my own decision. Like no other, not because like anyone tells me to. It's just like my personal decision, and that's really cool. And that's really those are like the themes of the show, like exploring like selfish and selfish people, like Sam, Sam's journey, and like I'm really enjoying this. Probably like in terms of all the Marvel sort of shows and TV movies, this is really up there with like Winter Soldier for me. So I can't recommend it enough. We're kind of short on time.
Really quick for the finale.
We'll see in the finale for sure.
Really quick beforehand, I'm just gonna say I can't wait for the next show that's gonna be coming out.
Yeah.
The best catch, Sam and the Winter Soldier when they go fishing, and they became the best like fishermen.
I want to see what happens with that boat. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Pivotal plot point.
I literally just want to see them like fishing.
Yeah. What is Sam?
Like 2 superheroes.
What is Sam like fish for? Did they ever say like what's the boat?
I think it's like crawfish.
Crawfish.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's like crawfish. And everything else, because I think it's in the middle of Louisiana, isn't it?
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah. Crawfish.
Yeah.
So we'll head to fanfic.com after this, and we'll find a domestic Avengers AU of that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like crab and like crawfish and stuff like that. Like, I'm pretty sure. But what was it? Yeah, that's the show I want to see. I want to see 10 episodes of them fishing.
Yeah, the Falcon and the
I'll
fish.
take it.
There you go. The sequel.
They're a fun duo. I'll take it.
Falcon and the Winterfish. Falcon and the Winterfish.
Nice.
Let's do this.
All right. So I guess we'll see next week when we'll do like a part 2 to this episode, talking the finale. You'll see us then. But just wrapping up, Noah, where can people find you at social media?
Oh, you can find me at Noah Garcia _photography on Instagram. You can find video things I do at the Geek Press on YouTube, where I do some work with other people. And you can find me on Twitter at Jacob Knight JK.
Awesome. Nick, where can people find you at?
You can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at the Nick Valero. You can also find me at a new podcast where I just jumped on as one of the new co-hosts and marketing guy at Keeping Up with the Nerds. A couple of our friends, Gene knows them, everything like that, with Brian and Renee. Come check us out over there on Facebook and everything else. Go check it out on YouTube. It's a really good show.
Awesome. Yeah, I could definitely recommend those shows, and they're good friends. But yeah, you could find me on Twitter and Instagram, Gene9892. You could follow the Waffle Press at the Waffle Press on Twitter, on Instagram at the Waffle Press Podcast. We're on SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and Patreon. Like, share, subscribe. You could find something you like, or even if there's something you don't like, still subscribe anyway. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We've been professionally unprofessional.